Disclaimer, I'm not claiming to be the smartest person in the room, but if you survive some really tough academic environment and you still come out good, you start noticing patterns. So I've done my bachelor's, I'm currently completing my master's, and I have had to navigate really challenging academic environments. So I want to share with you study skills that would actually get you results in the university. And oh yes, make sure you stick through to the end because you don't want to miss the most important skills. And by the way, if you are new here, my name is Latif, and this is Tales of Latif, where I share my journey through life, faith, school, and everything in between, hoping that you grab something useful along the way. Now let's get to it. Learn how to learn. Now, don't get this wrong. You see, the university is full of intelligent people. Every single one of you had to go through a filtering system to get to where you are. And so that already tells you something. You are not average. So here's what most people waste: access. So when you are put in groups for studies or projects, don't just divide the work and disappear. Use it as a lab. Watch how people think, watch how they break down problems and solve them. So I'll give you an example. In my third semester in my master's program, I was taking a course with this guy. So he noticed I had an upper hand in this course. So he started getting close to me. And one day he asked me a question that really caught me off guard. He asked me, how do you actually learn? Very simple and basic, but powerful. He didn't ask me for notes. He didn't ask me for solutions. He asked me for the system itself. And I came to a realization that's actually what smart people do. They reverse engineer other smart people. Of course, there are God knows how many books and resources on learning how to learn, but this is what I would say. You don't need to reinvent anything. Borrow strategies from your peers, test them, use them, and at the end of the day, you keep what works for you. Now, that's how you learn how to learn. Master independent learning. Now, after borrowing these strategies from your peers, you need to balance it, right? Because university is independent by design. There will be days that people will not be available, nobody will be there to explain, and you still have to survive on your own. And this is where people struggle the most: procrastination. And this is what I actually call friction. You see, starting anything in life feels heavy. Even small tasks might seem overwhelming. So here's what I do. Before I start any study session, I would write in a clear and well-detailed manner exactly what I'll be studying in that session. Now, most importantly, before I end that study session, I also note down what exactly I'll be studying or doing in the next study session. So I'd usually leave myself a small sticky note inside my notebook or textbook wherein I detail exactly what I would do in the next study session. So for example, after reading paragraph 1 in chapter 5 for this study session, I'll note here that read paragraph 2 and 3 under chapter 5, right? Or for example, I could say that I'm going to solve example 4 and 5 inside textbook, right? So when I return the next time to study, I don't spend time thinking about exactly what to do. I just execute. So here's the science behind it. When you actually reduce the time between thinking and actually doing things, you reduce friction and make things easy for you to do. Most of your procrastination is not really because you are lazy, right? It's mostly because you don't know exactly what the next step is. And once you reduce that friction, you would reduce procrastination as well and be able to work independently. The ability to ask high quality questions. Now, this one is uncomfortable, I know, but you need to ask questions. A lot of them, for that matter. I know sometimes you feel nervous, you just want to box yourself. You think people will judge you. This guy is a show off, he asks way too many questions. It's fine. Nobody great in life avoided labels, and I guess this is the price you have to pay. But here's the key to asking questions. Don't ask lazy questions. First, understand the general overview of the topic. Use textbooks, use these generative AI tools to get a basic understanding, right? For example, if you want to understand solar cells, you don't jump right in and ask really advanced questions, right? You start by understanding exactly what solar cells are. Understanding basic concepts like the PN junction, and then you approach your lecturer and say something like, this is my understanding so far, and I'm a bit confused about this particular part. Then you state specifically what you want to ask him about. Now, your question is very intelligent, right? And your lecturers or experts in any field would give you very helpful answers when you ask precise questions and not generic questions. Learn how to read. I know this one sounds very basic, but it's actually the core of everything, and I'll explain. You see, in graduate school, if honestly you cannot really sit down to read, you would really struggle. And don't get me wrong, reading is not staring at a text for just 10 minutes and eventually dozing off. There's more to it. Reading is very active, and this is a trick I use. Before I read anything technical with a lot of jargon, I try to get a background first, either from a lecture or even AI, so that I understand exactly where the topic is going. It's like spoilers for movie lovers. And I know normally we hate spoilers, but in academic and technical reading, it's sometimes helpful. These spoilers can come in the form of abstracts, conclusions, right, summary, and etc. Now, when you know the central idea, your brain starts looking for patterns as you read. It doesn't just wander around, and you actually have to train this muscle, right? Read technical stuff daily, even if it's for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Newsletters, research abstracts. In fact, even if you're scrolling through social media, you can turn on the captions and read them instead of just listening, right? In fact, you can actually start practicing now by turning on the caption on this video and start reading. And that's how you build cognitive stamina for reading. You have to know how to write. You see, reading and writing are like twin skills. If you can consume information deeply and produce it clearly, you become very powerful. In the academic world, they have a saying that publish or perish. And I strongly believe that many students struggle not because they are not intelligent, but mostly because there's some lack of rich understanding of the fundamentals of reading and writing. And if you master these twin skills, believe me, you would have a really good time in graduate school. Let's assume as an academic, you can't even produce any technical, numerical, or experimental work. But with these two twin skills, you can actually produce what we call review papers. And for review papers, you don't even need heavy computation or numerical analysis. You just need these two twin skills. You basically read and analyze what people have done, and then you synthesize it and present it clearly. And most often, review papers even get more cited than hardcore technical or computational or numerical, papers. And that's what I call academic leverage, knowing how to read and knowing how to write. You have to have academic confidence and courage. Now, this is like the icing on the cake. It ties everything together. You have to have the courage to ask questions, even if it feels uncomfortable. The courage to approach smart people. University is psychologically demanding, and you need some emotional stamina. Nobody talks about that, but it's really real and you need it. So if I had to compress everything for you, I would say that you need to master these skills. Learn how to learn from others. Reduce friction when you are studying alone, and in the process, you deal with what we call procrastination. Ask precise questions. Train your reading and its twin writing muscles. Because trust me, if you're able to master, as we have demonstrated, these twin skills of reading and writing and really grab the fundamentals correctly, you become academically dangerous and everything else becomes learnable. So I'd like you to leave in the comments what you think about these skills and what is the most important for you. Which one are you trying to work on? Interact with me and feel free to drop any questions and I'll do my best to address them. See you in the next one.